Good afternoon, everybody that's joined us today, in which we're going to do another one of our sessions where we are continuing to update and inform our current customers and also potential customers about a number of areas of technology that are primarily surrounding the Microsoft stack. Today, I'm really pleased to be joined by Michael Fletcher, one of our in Azure, and the subject of today's webinar is to give you a bit more of a deep dive about Azure and some of the applications and solutions that you can actually get from it. So, as usual, we're here to help you. We like to step you through functionality that you may already have but are not utilizing, and see it as one of our prime roles is to make sure that you get the most out of the solutions that you have, particularly as they become more complex and provide a wide variety of different applications. Our job is to try and guide you through those and make sure that your businesses get the most benefits from that. And of course, we also try and assist you very much in the area of security and ensuring that your business, your employees and your customers remain safe at all times. And of course, we're always here to help you, and I'll cover that again at the end. So moving on, we're going to talk initially about a virtual desktop, which is a key component that's supplied within Azure and delivers a significant amount of flexibility and functionality and security that's becoming more and more relevant used. Virtual desktop has been around in one form or another for a significant amount of time, but since Microsoft adopted this solution, I think it's become much more credible and much more usable. So hi Mike, I'm glad you joined us today. Perhaps you could tell us a little bit more about virtual desktop and how to access it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And you are completely correct. So yeah, Microsoft adopted this virtual desktop as a service in a way on the Azure base system to incorporate obviously a more wider audience, to allow enterprise companies to give their staff the ability to basically log on anywhere to a virtual desktop, albeit Windows 10 or server scenario, which we would generally typically see in an RDS solution at the minute.
Right, brilliant. So we then talk about how we actually access it as a user. How does that happen?
Yeah, absolutely. So it is completely device non-specific. So if you need to get in connection with your WVD solution from a tablet, from a desktop, thin client, laptop, mobile phone, so your MDM devices, fully capable of doing that. It also removes the need to have a company specific device, so you can access this from your own, bring your own device, which is basically giving access to users primarily wherever they are, irrespective of where they're based or what they're doing.
So that must be great for security, I would have thought, particularly in a bring your own device scenario. I would have thought that in that situation, users, particularly employees, would never be putting their company data at risk if they lost the PC or tablet that they were utilizing, or of course if they receive some spyware through their own volition, through their own private use. In those instances, again, the company's data, I think, would be protected. Is that right?
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. So WVD works at the back end of the Azure stack. So in order to access it, there's a few security mechanisms you have to go through to be able to gain permission to that environment. So firstly, you're looking at a gateway, sort of a broker service that you have to connect into. So data transit between your own local machine and the WVD can absolutely be blocked by another secure protocol that's being used quite often within group policies. We can set up single sign-ons, we can set up multi-factor authentication, and there is encryption at rest and in transit within the Azure stack as well. So access to data, unauthorized data, becomes very difficult for people that you don't authorize to obtain. So WVD is a great solution now for centralized management for enterprise solutions.
Brilliant. So, and once I've got it installed and I've got access to it, but I guess it's very much like just getting the receipt of a brand new tablet or PC. At that moment, I've got no applications running on it. It's just sitting there, happy days with, you know, with our basic control panel revealed to me, but I have nothing else on it at that point. So how do I actually then start to put the applications on there to start to build the functionality that I want to utilize with a virtual desktop?
Absolutely, yeah. So generally on a WVD solution, we're finding a lot of clients at the moment basically taking advantage of the Office 365 suite stack. So that we can incorporate within the WVD image that's in there as it is right from the get-go. In regards to bespoke software and other applications in regards to like Teams and stuff like that, it's basically a general Windows 10 desktop, albeit it's a multi-tenanted one. So it's a genre of virtualized desktop which you can't get outside of the Azure environment, but albeit it's just as user friendly as any other device that you would generally work with in an enterprise situation.
Great. So and how many users can I have on that? Can I set up multiple users? How is the solution effectively controlled in terms of access?
Right, yeah, that's a very good question. So VD is very scalable. You can have as little as 5 users on a WVD all the way up to enterprise level where you're talking thousands of users. So what we would generally do is we would monitor the resource and the right sizing of the machines and use scale sets in order to scale up and scale down the requirement as required. Obviously, as the user base or your enterprise grows, the systems can grow with it. For instance, if you do have low periods of where your company is not using or utilizing as much, those systems can be shut down or completely removed from the pool in order for cost management as well. So it's very elastic. It would probably be the best word for it.
I mean, normally as we step through these, I very rarely refer to ourselves, but I think a number of our customers who are smaller and perhaps wouldn't have all of the expertise in-house to be able to do some of the setting up and management of that. Is that something that we're able to do for our customers?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's probably where we shine the most, because we are there from the customer right from the get-go. We incorporate a full project managed architect solution for the client based on their bespoke requirements. So we basically work with the client themselves in order to achieve what their end goal or end solution would be. And then we don't just stop there. We then work with the client on a day-to-day basis, providing different requirements or different sets of methodologies that they would then need in order to accomplish what the enterprise itself is requiring.
And do I get full functionality? So, for instance, of Teams and Office 365, there's no degradation in those services.
Absolutely not. Well, so when you're talking in regards to Teams and Office 365, they're basically sat on the Microsoft backend anyway. So there's absolutely no degradation at all in regards to those services whatsoever, and I believe Microsoft have been working quite fundamentally hard on making sure that the team's experience within WVD is second to none, to be honest with you, because it's where a lot of people are requiring the most use at the moment. With a lot of people working from home and stuff, it's WVD is becoming a more and more requested source.
Brilliant. I've just got a couple more questions as we're moving on here. That I'm sure that many of our customers may wonder about. One of them, of course, is bandwidth, and does this chew up a lot more bandwidth? Is there a much higher level of bandwidth required? What will happen if I have a very slow response connectivity for some reason, or I'm remote or mobile? What's going to be the kind of experience that I'm going to get in those different scenarios?
Yeah, absolutely. So legacy, when we were talking about old RDS or terminal service, there'd basically be a requirement for a constant connection. Within WVD, it is the best way to explain it is proportionate to what you're seeing on the screen. So bandwidth utilization is quite low in regards to consumption. Obviously, latency between your on-prem and where you're accessing the WVD could have an impact, but in regards to the general usage of WVD, you shouldn't see much difference between the solution itself and using your local desktop.
Great. And as you're stating here, in terms of the slide that we're currently showing, of course, is that we've got it's a full global storage solution. So not only is the security of the data there, but obviously the integrity of it is also there as well. So in the event of any kind of disaster, your data is still safe and is still secured within the Azure environment. So we've covered security, we've covered how to access the solution, and we've talked quite a bit about being able to put all of the different applications into it as if it was indeed our own desktop solution. Couple of other things that I've got some questions on, which I guess with regards to security, we've still got all of the authentication, multi-factor, double level password, etc. All of that is the same, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. So that transfers from your Office 365 or Azure AD. You'd have that hash configuration back to what would be your Azure DS service, and that then obviously would conform to the user. So I mean, for instance, if you did use WVD, that's an extra add-on to the environment, which would normally cost an end user for that sort of solution, but it is built in within the Office 365 and Azure stack, so you get that out the box. In regards to data encryption, again, you get that out of the box, and there's some great mechanisms now to sort of integrate between other Microsoft platforms like OneDrive, Office 365. So there's great solutions for enterprise or business corporations now to be able to manage the movement of data without having that overwhelming worry of could somebody actually obviously take this and use it against us. And we have full auditability of who's accessing the solutions, what they're doing, what time, when they logged on, how many failed logon attempts. So what you would generally see within a cybersecurity sort of environment now, where you'd have SIEM login and system event tags to what people are doing. That's all incorporated within WVD out the box, with some small configuration settings and some policies put in place. We can utilize the full power of that to make sure our clients and enterprise businesses have that, security of, are we safe in the cloud sort of thing. So it is a great solution for businesses to at least look at now in regards to we can do this without having that worry.
Brilliant. I'm sold. Okay, I think the solution is a tremendous solution, but I think most of our customers are going to ask the question: how much is it going to cost? How is it billed? How do I keep control and management of those costs, and how are they transparently reported to me?
Yeah, absolutely. So at SMS, what we do, we're fully aware of obviously cost management, and there is mechanisms in place for us to be able to track and monitor that. We can obviously create automation sets which will spin machines down when they're not in use or low resource requirements. We can then do full reporting as to where bespoke utilization over each segment of what you're using, whether it's to do with bandwidth, whether it's to do with storage or WVD access. And in regards to the cost of WVD in comparison to the RDS service, you're looking at significant license decrease in cost, because there's fundamental changes that Microsoft have put in place for you to not have to pay for these extortionate license fees that were historically in place.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for kind of stepping us through. I think it's fair to say, I mean, this is just one facet of the type of functionality that's available through the Azure platform. And there are multiple other applications, products and solutions that we're able to deliver through this platform, either singly or combining them with other Microsoft services that we supply. And that's really where we come in. As for many of you that have watched some of our webinars before, I always end in the same thing, which is saying, we've been here a long time, since 2006. And we are focused absolutely on delivering cloud services. That's what we've always done. We're a Microsoft-centric house, although we will supply complementary other applications, products and services if they support and add value to a Microsoft solution. We're based in the UK. Our help desk is based in the UK, and we're more than happy at any point to take your calls and to talk through anything that we may well have gone through today with you, or anything that's been on any of our previous webinars that we've undertaken over the last 3 months. Or any other product that you'll find that we supply through our website. We live the dream. We utilize all of the services that we talk about in our webinars ourselves to run our businesses and to intercommunicate with each other. That's become much more relevant as the pattern of working at home due to COVID-19 has accelerated in many instances remote working. And of course, we're always happy to take your calls whenever we can. So our contact details, I think, are on the next slide. And you can get us at simplymailsolutions.com. Our telephone number is here, our support lines are here, and we're always happy to talk to you, our existing and any potential customer, about what we're doing. So thank you very much for listening to our webinar today on Azure. Please keep safe, keep well, and we hope to speak with you again shortly. Take care and goodbye.